So have creative video. We could do all sorts of things. We could start a video by showing like a close-up or something. And then you'd say, hey, let's talk about content, A, B, and C. So this would, even like a small thing like that, would be more engaging than the talking heads with no subtitles highlighting generalities.
Welcome back to Wisdom Journey. Today's guest is Daniel Alfon, a LinkedIn author, trainer, and legacy team ambassador who's been mastering the platform since 2004. He's helped thousands of entrepreneurs and podcast hosts turn LinkedIn into a lead generation machine without paid ads or code connects. In this episode, Daniel will share exactly how content creators can craft a magnetic profile, choose the right connection strategy, and turn organic LinkedIn activity into real revenue. Let's dive in.
Yeah, okay. How long have you been doing LinkedIn marketing?
I signed up to LinkedIn early 2004. I started giving training and lectures 2007, 2008. I published a book 2014, so probably around 13 years.
Wow, okay. Yeah. I'm curious to know. I just want to start with the story first, and then we'll digress into some of the tactics. But what are some of the kind of like case studies or kind of like client stories you've had regarding LinkedIn marketing?
Excellent. So if we speak specifically about content creators, and LinkedIn could be a great platform for you, Wisdom, to show, highlight, and feature the content you create. Simplest thing to do would be to visit your own profile and to make sure you upload a banner. That's a visual banner behind your profile photo, and that could be a text. It could be a striking image. It could be some combination. And I think 100% of content creators need to highlight their content using the banner. It's free. You can even play with Canva and create a specific banner that would work for you. And then the second suggestion would be to pick the strongest link. Actually, if you want people to go to YouTube or to any other destination, pick that link, go to your profile and feature it. If you could drive people into one website, what website would that be?
You're asking me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I guess it will be my personal website. Yeah.
Okay, so you can go to your LinkedIn account, visit your own profile, click on Add Profile section, and then select Recommended and Featured, and you'll see a plus sign. And in the plus sign, it enables you to add links.
Are you sharing it? Do you have your screen? Is your screen right? How do I explain now? Do you want to share your screen?
Give me a second.
Yeah, you can use the feature to share your screen on your over. Is it there?
Okay.
This is like the first time I'm doing, so I might not be able to give you the instructions, but yeah, we could. Yeah, it's working. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Fine.
You can see it, right?
Yes, I can see it. And the banner I refer to is this. Okay, so this is the banner, and you can obviously change that to highlight video or any image you'd like. Second suggestion was to add featured element. Let me show you what the featured element looks like. It looks like this. And the way to do it is to visit your own profile. First click Add Profile section. Second click Recommended. Third click Add Featured. And then you'll see plus sign. Once you click on the plus sign, you'll see a number of options, a link or media. In other words, if your content creator has file, images, and no link, they can even upload media, and that would be strongly featured in their profile. So that would be the first suggestions I would make.
Yeah. I have a lot of questions. The first question is, if you LinkedIn is usually personal brand, but then there are also company pages. But if you're someone who has like multiple brands that you're handling, right? How do you create a wholesome strategy such that everything connects? Do you understand my question, right? you have multiple brands, multiple businesses that you're handling. What would be the approach towards creating your own content strategy? Should you create an individual company account? But even at that point, you also want to like talk about your company personally so that people also know you do that stuff. But you don't want to confuse people because you're doing three different things. So what would be the approach for such a person's content strategy?
Excellent. So it's a great question. I think the easiest thing to do would be to create an umbrella brand, yours. And within that umbrella brand, you would say, I work with company A that does X, Y, and Z, and company B that does service-based whatever. And you have one brand, but you could highlight different topics. And if you have many, if you're a slasher and you have 4, 5, 6 options, it's best to really pick one. Ask yourself which is the one you'd like to promote for the long term. And if one of them has a B2B aspect, a business to business aspect, that usually wisdom is the one to use on LinkedIn. Say you offer a service, say you're a photographer. You offer studio photos for people in Nigeria to take pictures of their babies, but you also do corporate photos for their website, for product launches. So your LinkedIn would not say, hey, if you have a baby, come to my studio. It would say, I work with companies and here are examples of my work.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just to be clear, when you say B2B, what exactly do you mean?
Business to business, meaning your client is a business. You don't sell to individual, but you sell to a business, to a company that can hire you. Let's talk about content. Companies need content. If you help companies create high quality content, then you're in a B2B business because companies pay better prices. Companies can work with you for a long term, and they're usually the most lucrative segment you can think of. So most people have a B2B element. That element is best highlighted on LinkedIn.
Okay. Well, I'd love for us to go into the content strategy itself. What should we even post? How often should we even post? Some of those questions, like if I was to create my content strategy, is there a framework you give to me to say, okay, use this framework to like, create a wholesome content strategy that fits into my goal and my purpose?
Excellent. So short answer, probably less often than we think.
Okay.
Let me try and explain what. If we're only starting with LinkedIn, we may have 20 or 200 connections. It's not worth invading or hijacking their feed with weekly or daily content posts because maybe 5 people will see it. If on the other hand, you have 20K or 40,000 followers, then sharing frequently usually makes a lot more sense. So let's talk about the other options you have if you don't have many connections, because you don't have to. One way to do it is to identify, join, and share content in specialized communities called groups in LinkedIn. So let's take an example. You're a video creator and your specialty is AI, 3D technology videos. So what you could do is ask yourself, in the companies, who would be my ideal client? Maybe it's the chief marketing officer, maybe it's the market manager, maybe it's a product manager, someone like that. So you run a search for product managers in London, or you run a search for chief marketing officers in Dallas, Texas, and you join such a group, you monitor the group, and you ask yourself, is this a group I would like to share my content in? And my content could be content you create, or the next level would be helping your ideal clients. Like if you're a new client or if you're a new CMO, you have lots of questions about the content. How should I tackle AI with videos? What's the best approach? So if you can identify the question your clients are struggling with, and you can guide them and say, AI is changing. Here are 2 or 3 tools I use: Midjourney, DALL-E, XYZ. Here's some examples of my initial thought, and then the first result, it wasn't very good, and the second result, here's the process. If you'd like to work with me, please reach out.
Yeah. I like the fact that you so at the beginning we're doing one-to-one, we're trying to increase our connections.
You have a real life network, and I think it's best to start with those people, because the importance of the best value I get from LinkedIn is referrals. My business is based on referrals. 90% of my business comes through referrals. Whenever someone visits my profile and they see that we share a mutual connection or two or whatever, they usually can reach out to that person and ask him. And they would not go, Daniel who? They would say, yes, I attended a LinkedIn workshop he gave, or I spoke with him, or I was on he was a guest on my podcast, or whatever. So ideally, you want to make sure that your real life network is your LinkedIn connections, because exposure, can we discuss exposure for a sec?
Yeah, please.
Cool. So most people are interested in having a large number of connections because they expect more exposure. But today, exposure starts with tens of thousands of connections. So if you have 2,000 connections, you don't have exposure. Maybe 2% will see it, maybe 40 people. It's not worth it. You have to ask yourself one simple question: in 2030, in 5 years' time, wisdom, would you like to be the most connected, or would you prefer to be the best connected? Most or best?
Yeah.
And you can't have it both ways. If you want most, you can't know all of your network. If you want best, you can't have a large number of connections. Most works. Best works. The only thing that doesn't work is trying to be both things, which means you gain only marginal exposure and you pollute the quality of referrals of your network. So pick one, most or best.
Yeah, best. Yeah.
Yeah. You could gain significant business with 30 connections on LinkedIn, and you might have 3,000 connections and get 0 revenues from LinkedIn. The metrics you should focus.
Okay. Yeah. I think for me, I'm wondering, what about the company pages? How does that do? Because every LinkedIn expert I see is always talking about personal brand, being your personal page, your connections, and I know that's important. But what if you want to build your company page? You want to build the brand, and then later on connect it to your personal brand. How does that work?
Okay, so let's discuss the difference between your personal profile and your company page. For content creators, the vehicle, the best tool is their individual profile. When does a company page become important? It becomes important only if you have thousands of employees. So if your company employs 5,000 people, the company page is interesting. But if you're a solopreneur, if you're an agency with 2, 5, 15 people, set up the company page, forget about it, visit it every 3 months, drop something there. But marketing and leads will come through your individual profile and not something else. Your individual profile is where people will reach out to you. It's a very common misconception. The company page is not that important. Our individual profile is way, way more important. And just to mention the thing we discussed about connections, the quality wisdom of our network is much more important than the number of connections we may have.
Yeah.
Next steps, think of your profile as a website, not as a CV. It's not important if you attended that university, worked for that company. Think of it as an extension of your own website. And before you rush to advertise, make sure that the content you have is visible on LinkedIn. And lastly, you don't have to spend money on LinkedIn. You don't have to invest in a premium account. What you have to invest is your time. If you invest time, you'll understand the platform better, you'll see the opportunities much better, and you'll gain a better ROI by investing your time.
So when you say invest time, what are you talking about?
Ask yourself, can I commit to 15 minutes a week for 4 months to visit LinkedIn or whatever? Maybe you would say 1 hour. Maybe some content creators will say only 10 minutes. But think really consistently. What is the minimal amount of time I could dedicate to this business platform that has over 1 billion users, 100% of Fortune 200 or 2,000 companies, and every second, 3 people sign up? It's the best place for business. Make it count.
Oh. Okay. Now you talked about websites being better than CV. I'd love for you to expand on that.
Sure. So if you think of your individual profile wisdom, I would ask 3 questions. 1, who's your ideal reader? So let's imagine for some content creators, it would be a client that could hire them and work with them and say, we're looking for a content strategy and we need someone to create videos for us and we need A, B, and C. So who's the ideal reader? Question number 1. Question number 2, if you could make those people visit your profile, what action would you like them to perform after they discover you? Go to your website, usually go to some destination you think is better converting. That's it. Who's the ideal reader? What action would you like them to perform? And lastly, are we making it as easy for them as possible to go to that link, to visit that destination, to understand that this is the right place for them to go? Going back to what we said initially, upload a banner, featured links, and make your profile convert. Make it interesting. Make it about them.
Yeah. Okay. We've talked about the top level LinkedIn strategy and all that. I want us to drill down into the content itself. So how do I explain it? How do I ask this question now? What are the types of content I could start posting, and so I can show up consistently and actually post valuable content and not just generic slop everybody's posting out there?
Cool. Let's think of a real life example. Think of your ideal client and maybe share with me what they struggle with. What is the first question that makes them think I need someone like Wisdom? What do they struggle with in their work?
Okay, let's say let's say the service I offer is I do podcast production for businesses, and yeah, okay. The question they struggle with is how do they create a podcast that aligns with their business goals?
Excellent, Wisdom. You just nailed it. So this is the sort of content I would advise to start with. Like, what sort of possibilities do you have when you try to launch a podcast for your business? And you usually know the questions your clients struggle with. Like, what sort of equipment do we need? Do we make it in-house? Do we use that brand? Do we use Riverside? Do we need to have an episode shared weekly or monthly? Or how long would it be? Or video? Lots of questions they struggle with. So help them build a map for them to understand, hey, this person is understanding the situation and the challenges we face. And if you manage to move them from no knowledge to a little knowledge, and you just help them take a baby step from point A to point B, you show them suddenly point C and D. Now that you better understand what sort of podcast you'd like to launch, here are the next questions. And now is the place they want to reach out to you saying, hey, now we have a budget. Now we have a better understanding. We'd like someone to help us produce and launch that podcast. Would you be open to that? So go back to the questions they ask themselves and create content around that without giving them 100% of your knowledge. Give them the first steps.
Yeah. I'm going to ask this now, and I know it's this coming out of the blue. Do you have samples you could possibly share with us for those that are watching on YouTube?
Can you repeat that? What do you mean?
Do you have content samples, probably maybe in a different feed or that you could share with us to illustrate the points? Maybe for those who are on YouTube, they can watch and see what you're talking about.
Okay, so I'll try to get back to you and to send you something that shows it. I can't pull it right now, but I think I'll find something.
Oh, okay. I was thinking maybe you pull it out and show us on the screen. Wow. Okay. Okay. Let me change the question. Do you have a swipe file of maybe top performing content type or something like that?
The thing is, it's really dynamic, and there is no simple formula. It's not I have the formula, I don't want to share it. It's like, okay, in general, because LinkedIn is a business network, many people watch video with no sound on LinkedIn, not in general. Like on LinkedIn, the percentage of people watching videos is high, but they usually don't have headphones or speakers. So the video should be self-explanatory, and you need to play with the caps and the subtitles and to make sure the video is, if you click on a video and you don't understand what's happening, then in 5-10 seconds, most people will go elsewhere. If you manage to hook them with the 5-10 seconds, it could, like, you're a creative. So have creative video. We could do all sorts of things. We could start a video by showing like a close-up or something, and then you'd say, hey, let's talk about content, A, B, and C. So this would, even like a small thing like that, would be more engaging than the talking heads with no subtitles highlighting generality. Be creative in the way you create your content.
Earlier on, just first step back a bit. You were talking about, if I decide who I want to serve, who my ideal client is, I ask myself, what are the problems? What are the things you're struggling with? And I start kind of like answering some of the questions they're asking, even without them even asking. Like some of the things that are the roadblocks that are holding them back, I try to answer them. I try to like educate them, enlighten them, right? So for me, I'm asking, where does my own personal story fit into the content strategy?
You have a real life personality.
Yeah.
And the simplest suggestion would be to continue with that real life personality on LinkedIn. In other words, some content creators listen to us would like to be their story and to talk about their journey, to discuss their troubles and the way that they were selling lemonade when they were 14 and they relocated and they did A, B, and C. And that's fine. But other content creators want their content to speak for themselves, and they're not interested in saying, this is me. That can also work. Like, you can have 80-20, 80% of content you create, video content, visual content, whatever, and 20% about what made you become a content creator. What is content creation for you? What sort of content plan do you have, and how you work with clients? So don't try to become someone you're not. If you like to speak about yourself, do it. It's fine. But if there's a gap and someone seeing your content will look and say, hey, this is not the person I know. These are not the words wisdom would use. Something strange is going on here. So we lost them. It's best we have a real life personality. If we're an introvert, the worst place to become an extrovert suddenly is LinkedIn. If you are an extrovert, by all means, talk about yourself, but simply continue with the sort of personality you have. You'll sleep better, you'll have better conversions, you'll have better referrals, and you'll make the platform serve you instead of you trying to serve the platform.
Yeah. So, a lot of persons, when they mention LinkedIn, the thing they're talking about is code messaging, code DMs, and all that. I'm kind of curious. How does that, is it as important, or is it something that I probably should just ignore and forget about?
You call it DMs, we call it spam in 90% of cases. So I have a blog post saying, if you want someone not to read your message, them DM them on LinkedIn. It's not the place to go, because the inbox and the messaging are not easy to work with. And usually DMs are sponsored spam. Or if you'd like to send a message to someone you connected with, like imagine a friend of yours has their birthday coming up today, and LinkedIn showed you John has their birthday today, and LinkedIn will suggest, click here to message them happy birthday on LinkedIn, or to post happy birthday John on LinkedIn. Trouble is, if you're number 44 to wish them a happy birthday publicly, you don't count. So invest another 30 seconds. Visit that John's profile. Click on their contact info. And then take their email. If you do that, you'll be able to stand out from the crowd, and you'll be able to strengthen your relationship with that person. So take the time to invest and to read and to get in touch with people outside of the LinkedIn platform. Like outside of the LinkedIn, one of the biggest secrets is to know when to leave the LinkedIn platform. You don't have to message people on LinkedIn. What you could do is going to their profile, visit their profile, take the contact info, and message them through email, which would be less invasive and easier for most people to read.
Oh, for someone who is just like starting out professionally, right? Especially if probably they're very young, probably testing out things. They don't even have exactly, okay, this is the thing I want to do. They're just experimenting. But they know that personal brand is very important and they want to build their personal brand. And they're probably not yet closing clients or even thinking of selling something. But they know that eventually in the future they'll do that. But for now, they just want to grow their personal brand, connect with people, make some friends, so that eventually when they do have product to sell, they can easily say, hey, that's true. My friend John, my friend James, yeah, I'm now a content strategist now. You can reach out to me if you're interested in that stuff. Well, this is what I do now. But we want to like build the connection even before we have a product to sell. How should someone like that approach LinkedIn instead of the traditional? Oh, you already have a product to sell. You already have service to sell. Now go find people to buy your stuff.
Engaging with content, your feed is probably one of the easiest way to do it. Let me suggest 2 or 3 quick actions you could perform. If you bump into interesting content that is not made by a direct competitors of yours, like say YouTube has changed something last night. Okay, so you don't compete with YouTube, you leverage YouTube, but YouTube is not taking business away from you, right? So if you find an interesting tutorial that just dropped about the changes and how content creators need to up their game, take that link, share it on LinkedIn, and add your takeaway. This is why I think it counts. So the content would not be yours. Producing content, as you know, takes a lot of time, a lot of resources. Identifying good content is easier. And the best news, you don't have to look for content just for the sake of LinkedIn. When you find something interesting, ask yourself, would that be a good thing to share? And in some cases, you would say no. But in the cases you say yes, take that link, go to your feed, share it, and add your personal perspective. That's curating other people's content is one of the best way to make people discover you through the content you share.
Yeah. Before you go a step further, I just want you to, is there like a framework, kind of like a checklist for someone to like go through to know a worthy content to share?
I will be able to share something. Yeah. Okay. So what I'll do, fine. I'll show it and give me a sec. So what I created, like my first article was about how should people share on LinkedIn. No, not this one. Sorry. Okay. So this is the sort of framework I can suggest. And it starts with reading. I'll share the link. And instead of going through it, I think it offers a lot of simple ways to pick the sort of content and what to do with that content as a system, if you like. What to do on LinkedIn, when not to share it, how to share it. So I'll do that and I'll share the link with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
The link is in the chat.
Yeah.
Could this be your profile?
Where is it? I can't. I'm only saying the article you just showed.
Okay.
Did you? Okay.
Sure. 1 sec.
Yeah, that's true. You just caught me off guard. I've not really optimized or done anything on my.
Is this your profile?
No, you see, I don't think so. No, this is not my profile.
Can you?
But the funny thing is that this guy's profile looks like mine. He even went to the same university as mine. That's strange. So what you do for my profile, there'll be a wisdom at the center.
Okay.
So this name and then there's wisdom at the middle.
So could you highlight the link or could you show us? Well, I'll look for, you know what? Okay. 1 second. I think I got it. No.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
Let me share my screen again. This one?
Yeah. I've not touched this account for the past probably 10 years or 8 to 10 years.
Easy. If you don't want business, leave it as it is. If you are open to business, then by the end of today, start by uploading a profile photo, pick a banner, and feature your content. And I will visit it before this episode drops so you can walk the talk and understand. It's really easy. It's simple. Do it. It will take you minutes.
I dropped the banner, the photo. What about the description, the byline of what I do and stuff?
I do magic with content.
Oh, I do magic with content. Okay.
Or something that you would like, that instead of saying my company is called whatever, I do wise things with content, if you'd like. Or do something that would be interesting for the reader.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely work on it before this episode goes live.
Fine. Excellent. You could also say, I help companies launch podcasts. You can have it as a headline. You can put it somewhere lower, but pick the sort of message you'd like to convey.
Well, okay. Yeah, I've seen a lot of potential opportunities out there. I might as well tap from the LinkedIn market economy.
LinkedIn also plays with gigs and hiring services. It's not very successful, and I'm not sure it will remain here. But it's interesting to know, because when LinkedIn decides to launch some sort of marketplace that is strong, it could change the whole gig economy, because everything would be tied to your profile and your connections. LinkedIn has played with that with Profinder and other services, but it's really used by less than 1% of people. LinkedIn could disrupt Fiverr and every other marketplace there by creating a marketplace for businesses to engage and work with content creators and service providers in general. Right now, it's not very successful.
Yeah. Well, earlier on, you were when I was talking about building a profile and connection, you were explaining it, and you were about moving to the second one before I was like asking you, okay, what type of content should we share? And yeah, I'd love for you to continue that train of thought. So the second thing you're about sharing.
Wow, cool. So another simple thing to do when you visit your own feed, you read the content that people come up with. And in some cases, you could contribute to the discussion. So say someone would highlight that they're launching a podcast, and here's the link to their first podcast. Because you're a podcast professional, what you could do is visit the link and give them constructive feedback. That, hey, this is a great start. The next step may be to do A, B, and C. So you suggest easy things that are not a hard sell, and that make them discover you. And in some cases, come and say, Wisdom, we'd like you to help us with the production aspects or the content aspect or the technical aspects, whatever they have in mind. So commenting smartly on people's posts is also a simple, free way to leverage the platform. You can do that even if you have 30 connections.
Yeah, I mean that's not spam like DMing people.
You wouldn't say buy from me. You would point them like, say, there's the audio is broken, or there's a mismatch between the sync is not working properly, or the headline does not reflect the actual content, or it's a great video, it's 15 minutes long, and what you could suggest is actually break it into a playlist of 8 shorter clips, or anything. You would know better than me, but you would have all sorts of simple ideas that would make sense for the reader, for the content creator that shared that, and also to help people understand, hey, you know YouTube better than us, or you know content better than us. Maybe we should work together. So you don't say buy from me. You say, have you considered creating a playlist? Because what you discussed in A, B, and C is great, but sometimes people only look for C. They might get lost. And you could create a simple playlist or whatever you suggest.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Wow. Okay.
That's it. I don't want you to work hard. Visit your profile, upload a banner, create a good headline, upload a photo, feature the stuff, and start benefiting from the LinkedIn economy.
Okay, I'll definitely do that. Before we go, what's one how do I explain that? What advice you'd give to people who are still on the thinking if LinkedIn is just a hoax, or so if it's really
excellent. So a simple question would be to ask: are their clients on LinkedIn or not? If their prospects are on LinkedIn, they should be there. But if their prospects are not on LinkedIn, then I don't think they need to work for LinkedIn or do something important. Mind you, it's better not to be on LinkedIn than to be on LinkedIn and not leverage it. Like if you have a half-baked profile, it doesn't attract anyone, and it makes when people run a search, when people Google your full name, usually Wisdom, your LinkedIn profile will be in page number 1 and often the very first result. Organically, like you don't have to pay Google, you don't have to pay LinkedIn. Simply people looking you up would go to that profile. So make it count. Because if I visit the profile, it doesn't show me why I need to reach out to you. I'm out of here. I'm going somewhere else. Don't let me walk out of your store.
Yeah. I like the fact that it gets us to leverage organic presence on Google and all that. Well, I never thought of that. Before we go, thank you so much, Daniel, for sharing your LinkedIn secrets and sharing the screen and the resources, and also putting me on this too. I really, really appreciate that. Where can listeners learn more about you and the work?
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to speak with you. And the best place to go is danielalfon.com. Daniel, then ALFON.com. And just say that you heard the episode with Wisdom, and I'll be glad to hear from you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Wisdom Journey, the podcast for content creators. If today's episode sparked ideas, subscribe and leave a review. Share it with a fellow creator who might benefit. Check the show notes for links and resources. If you'd like to support the show, buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/wisdomhq. Follow us on social media to stay connected. Until next time, keep creating and seeking wisdom in your journey.